everybody, welcome back to another episode of Happiness Matters, the show, with your host, Mo the service dog, who's on the floor right now, apparently taking a bath. Me, Beanie. And my awesome friend and guest, Carrie Perkins, and we met a long time ago. Did we meet networking? How did we meet?
You know, I can't even remember. My first, when I go back to meeting you, we had the most incredible conversation, and we were talking about this other thing that I used to do. And so it must have been through somebody, I think it was through another friend of ours, Rachel, at some place. I'm not really a networking event.
You know what,
so
I think I met you at the Greenie Awards.
That's the other thing I did, yes.
The big one, with the big, where they had the globe in the hall, and I think that's where I was introduced to you.
Yes.
I think, and Rachel did introduce us.
It was Rachel.
Yes.
And then she's like, you have to get to know this woman. She is so much up your alley. She is you. And I was like, okay, one day we will, when it's time. And then we met.
And it's like, magic.
And here we are, years later.
We just go with magic.
Absolutely.
So no, but I mean, I love your heart. I love what you do, you know, and I do, because you're my people. You are totally my people. You are amazing, and you have such a giving heart. And I mean, you've been through some stuff that, whoa.
Yes.
You know, and it's like it would crush a lot of people.
Yeah, well, thank you for saying that. And for me, that has always been my focus, to not let life make me bitter. Right?
I love that.
That stuff is going to come, and if I can get through it and remain heart-centered, because the reality for me, or one of my truths is that hurt people hurt people. And that if I could get through, and of course I've had some really great mentors, some virtually or through books,
right,
and some in my life, and role models that have made me, that have given me. How can you stay focused in this?
I know.
Mozart.
It's like. Anyway,
he's like, see, I'm. That's me too, Mom.
It's my show too.
Yes.
Except the camera's that way.
Oh my gosh.
So you had some great mentors along the way to help you too, and
the
going through stuff,
personal, right? To get through it and to love somebody in spite of it,
right?
And that has been my strength. So no matter what is happening,
your superpower.
My superpower. Oh. You should see my costume.
Ooh, can't wait. Oh, there's no Galaxy Fest this coming year.
Well, we'll have to create some type of fest for everyone to show up in something that is represents their superpower.
Did you hear that, Linda and Brian?
We need to create an event.
There has to be something. Anyway.
Yeah, well, so I think what draws me to people like you, and when you say tribe or people, I call it tribe.
Same thing.
Yeah, your tribe, is that we all are trying to do the best we can, and if I can get through, and when you talk about some really tough situations and where people would become angry or hurt, that comes. I can tell you, I didn't.
Oh, it comes.
I didn't get, some of the things that have happened. It's not that I didn't go, oh, that was wonderful, and I'm so peaceful and
no,
so
this
loved.
Sucked.
Yeah, this sucked.
Like a super hoofer.
Yes. But how do you manage through it? How do you allow it to happen within your life, and then on the other side of it, see the blessing or the lesson, right? The lesson or the blessing, and stay above it.
That's tough sometimes.
Yes. And I think it starts with finding yourself.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
First yourself, then your tribe, then your mentors or your focus, what helps you get through it, and do the work every day, every minute.
Oh my God, yes. Be aware. I mean, be in the moment. And you know, the thing is, like, once you start working on yourself, your tribe comes. The right people, because your vibration changes.
Or the wrong people kind of fall off. Because, so you could be in, and as you empower yourself, or you become very clear of what you want in your life,
Right.
the ones that are not a part of that vision tend to fall off or
Mhm.
fall away.
Right.
Sometimes painfully, but you end up, if you're really clear and connected to what's your greater good, and you wake up and you look, everything you need is right around you.
I mean,
Fully believe that.
and here's what's really what I love, what I've learned, and what I'm still in awe every single day. Everything we want already exists.
Yes, I agree.
Everything. Oh, you found it! Yay! You found his favorite squeaky toy, the candy corn. So funny. But no, everything we want already exists. We just have to match our vibration to whatever it is we want.
Yes.
So, because everything is energy and everything has a frequency and a frequency vibrates. So we just have to, and a lot of times we want something up here, yet we're down here. So we just have to match our vibration. It's fun, it works.
It does work.
I love it.
And knowing, there's this whole thing, if you think about it, or, putting a vision board together and you put images up and, the law of attraction, it's going to come. There's another piece, over my years of experience, why that doesn't work and people give up is because they don't believe it. They don't feel it. So there's a direct correlation to not just seeing it and believing, but feeling it too. And so when we manage how we feel about things, if you're feeling really down or you're feeling...
And that's the emotion with the low vibration. Again, misery loves company.
Yes.
That's exactly that. But so does happiness, guys. Whoop!
Vibrate in happiness. Well, and I think it's, be intentional and purpose. You have to have the tools around you.
Right.
You can't... sometimes life will, I think we talked earlier, and not on this recording, but that life, it's like fog underneath a door, and all of a sudden you find yourself in a place where you can't be happy. You can, but you can't feel it, you don't see it.
Right.
What is it that you have prepared in those moments? What can you get at hand? I'm here, I'm in this place.
Panic button.
Yeah. That you have a first aid kit for your emotion. Because if you allow yourself, whatever you feed grows. So if I'm going to stay in this place, and I only know this, and I openly shared with you, there was a time in my life where I didn't want to get out of the bed. And I struggled to, and I'm particularly a very happy person, very motivated, very inspired, but for this period of time, for something really traumatic that happened, I didn't even want to face the day. And I had to pull in key things that would make me, little anchors. Okay, just get out of the bed. Step 2.
Right.
Take a shower. Step 3. Put your coffee cup, your special cup, create rituals for yourself so that you can be reminded of really what you already truly know, that life is beautiful, life is joyful. We were born to be bright and light.
Yeah.
And then life happens, right? And if we don't have the tools, whatever those are, we don't have the tools, we may be at the mercy of our own willpower. And we know how sometimes that goes.
No, I wouldn't know anything about that. Nothing.
Never.
Nothing, not a thing.
Never.
No, but I mean, it's true. It's really true, because I remember I call them my dark times, I mean, I had to get up because I had the kids. They were little and they depended on me, so. I had to. I really had to, so. But I remember looking back, I mean, I went through it in a fog. It's like out-of-body experience. It's like it wasn't me.
No.
It was me, but it wasn't me. I was there, but I wasn't there. I mean, I was just going through the motions. It
worked. It got you through it.
Yeah.
Could it be different?
Yeah. Well, I mean, to the point where, at one point, I mean, and I talk about that in my book, and, beginning of 2004, I was ready to end my life. I was done. So, yeah. But I didn't. I'm here.
Thank goodness.
I know, right? Thank you. But I mean, the reason why I didn't do it is because of my husband and my kids.
Yes,
because my husband was active duty military. He deployed a lot and everything, and I know my kids needed me. So I stayed, really not for me, but for them.
And sometimes
that's okay.
Yes, exactly.
It's okay. But in that moment, when I realized that I have a choice to make, I mean, if I'm staying, I'm not going to go on the way I have, because it's miserable. It sucked. It was awful. You know, so I decided to fight and take my power back.
Yeah.
And it took me a while. Here I am.
Look at you go. Look at you go.
But I mean, it took a while, and it was hard, and it was painful, and there were setbacks, you know, and everything, but it's like pushing forward, because there was no way I would go back to where I came from. There was just no, for me. You know, I did not want to go back to this black hole.
But you had a reason.
I had a reason.
A purpose.
Right.
And
it makes a difference.
mm-hmm.
It makes a difference. But when it's just you know, it's like, well, not feeling it.
Well,
That's
I think
tougher.
that we all have a reason to be here. We all have.
Oh, we all have a purpose. We
Yes,
all have a purpose. Yes.
And if we get clouded and lost, so meaning like this is happening, I can't see. What are we going to do to remind ourselves?
Mm-hmm.
We have to prepare for those moments. It's very few people that I've come into experience, and you know, my background is I've been in the I've been in the wellness industry for over 25 years. I ran a $10 million company, over 220 employees, 4 locations. I'm now out consulting across the world.
Which is so awesome. I'm so excited for you.
And I have yet in my life met somebody who has never been through something.
Mm-hmm.
I've never met anyone who's like, I've had the most charmed life ever.
I have met a couple people. I'm like, this is awesome. I'm happy for them.
I haven't.
I'm happy.
They haven't had bad days or.
Well, no. I mean, they had bad days too, but they nothing ever like
traumatic,
crushing. You know.
Right. So I'll reframe that. Bad days and haven't needed something, and those people that tend to get through stuff have a higher purpose. Mm-hmm. So if what I found for myself is those dark moments, and there's been several, right?
A couple.
That honoring while I'm in it. What is it about this? What brought me here? And
mm-hmm.
really, and I want to say treasure that I'm here and how I get through it. And the other thing that I discovered is that you never see yourself getting better.
You can't see your hair grow, except one day you realize like, oh man, I need a haircut.
Right, so it's that kind of thing. Like just trust the journey.
Mm-hmm.
Take the step, the small steps. There's a writer, his name's Dr. Moyer, and he talks about how the small steps.
You mean I have to take action? What?
Take the steps.
What?
Yes. If I want to live, I've got to breathe.
Right.
If I want to do something, I've got to walk, or I've got to move, or got to whatever. So yes.
And that's the thing, guys. It's like whatever you want. It's like don't just sit there and wait for it to happen. It's not happening, and if it happens, it doesn't happen in your favor. Somebody else is making the decision. You have to take action, whatever that is, and if it's a baby step, half a step, it doesn't matter. Take a step towards where you want to go. And sometimes it's just like, I want to get out of the dark. I want to walk into the light.
Sometimes you don't even know where you want to go.
No, but you keep moving anyway, you know, and it's like, eventually it's like you see the light. And then you go towards the light. And no, it's not a freight train coming at you. I keep saying that too. Because you know the light at the end of the tunnel?
Yes.
You know, and it's like, no, it's not a freight train. No.
Just keep moving.
Just keep moving in towards that direction, you know. It's like, you know, like you, when you started out, it's like, okay, one door closed, and it's like, now what do? You went in another direction, and look where that went.
Yes, because at the moment, when your identity is tied to something,
mm-hmm.
whether it's a job or a marriage or a friendship or
anything.
even anything, you have this identity. I am this. And if that thing is taken from you and the door's closed, you didn't plan it, wasn't your idea.
No, you go through the grieving process just like you would go through the grieving process if you lose a loved one.
Right, so that identity is gone.
Mm-hmm.
Trusting that if I step forward and I'm clear that whatever is for my greater good is going to show up, trust it, move, see the opportunity and go. So yeah, at that moment, one of the dark moments was I had this identity around this thing, I am this person, and it was taken unexpectedly. And I had to figure out life. I'm like, and I didn't know.
Mm-hmm.
You know, 18 years of my life is this, and here I am. And realizing that my purpose is to help and serve. And by staying in the bed and by
It serves nothing.
hiding who I am
Mm-hmm.
and not letting my light shine, because we need light in the world. We need people
Right.
to shine. We need people to show up and love.
Mm-hmm.
That I wasn't there, and I didn't have it. And for, I would say, an extended period of time, I would go out in public and people couldn't tell. I became great at hiding it.
Oh, we're very good. I was a master. Mm-hmm.
Hi!
Right, and I get this. So a friend of mine in Germany, we were stationed with them, she bought my book, and she messaged me, she goes, oh my God, I had no idea that was going, because I mean, I put the time frame in, when I was ready in my life, beginning of 2004, she goes, I am so sorry, I had no idea. And I said, don't be sorry. Nobody knew. My husband knew. Nobody knew, because we put on a show.
In some ways, that can serve us, in some ways. In other ways, it prevents people from helping us. And what I mean by serving is you almost fake it. You're out there like everything's
fake it till
great.
you make it, yeah,
right.
but...
And then what is it enabling? So my whole...
Mo doesn't know where he wants to lay down or what
He's
he
like,
wants to
I'm
do.
digging this energy over here.
So it's like he's moved from here, it's like, oh, this is comfy. No, now I'm over here, so it's all good.
That's so true.
Silly boy.
Oh my goodness. Where were we at?
Taking our energy and just moving, when our identity, when it was taken, and just like moving forward and faking it till we make it.
In some cases it's needed.
It is needed, it's like for me, it was like I didn't want to talk to people. And my thing is like I didn't want that pity. Although I was in victimhood, and you get a lot of attention when you're in victimhood, and that's why a lot of people stay in victimhood. But I didn't want the pity. I didn't want to talk about it. I just wanted to be left alone. So I was always like this bubbly, blah blah blah, on the outside, in public, and behind closed doors, I was the most miserable person you'll meet.
Isn't that amazing that we could be walking around and we never know what's really behind what we really see, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know about you, but along the way in this space, in this journey, there was always little signs. Whether you call it the universe or spirit, there were always little signs to remind me that I had something more to give. I had to keep going.
Mm-hmm.
I had to get out there and be fearless. And it was interesting, the more quiet I was about all the things that were going on, how the world around kept going. And I'm like, wait, I'm over here, I'm by myself. And the world kept going. And it was such a great lesson for me that I gave too much importance to what the external world thought about me. Too much importance on what, if I did this, this is what they would think. If I did this, and it didn't matter. It doesn't matter. Like, I had to focus on me.
Mm-hmm.
I need to work on me, and the more I worked on me and continue to work on me, the more that I had a stronger impact, and I could see things happening that really aligned with where I'm going to be going, what I'm doing, and helping other people.
Mm-hmm. No, absolutely.
Totally
Absolutely,
shift.
and it's like, and I was worried about, what people would think. I mean, especially, I was, at one point I weighed, 370 pounds? I mean, I saw the looks. I knew what people were thinking, or I thought I knew what people were thinking, and it's like constantly being judged, And now I understand, it's like, people still judge. People will always judge. Too tall, too short, too fat, too thin, too this, too that, too blah, 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 blah. And then the day I realized that it has nothing to do with me, people will judge one way or the other. I don't care. It has to do with them, the way they see the world, the way they look at themselves, because, the reflection without is a reflection from within. Now I can look at them, when they judge, and I just send them love and light, and I'm thinking, I'm really sorry that you're going through whatever it is you're going through. I hope it gets better. Sometimes I tell them, most of the time I don't, because I don't have the time for a conversation, and B, it's like sometimes I'm just not in the mood. But I always send them the love and the light, so they can move forward.
It's interesting, I have a story and a point of reference, we were talking about people are going to judge you. I have a friend, and she had gained some weight, and she didn't want to go to her family reunion. And she was so afraid that they were going to judge her, so she was hiding from it. And I'm not going to go, and I'm going to come up with some excuse. And then I said to her, but don't you think you're worried they're going to judge you about your weight, but you not going there, they're going to judge you. They're going to judge you no matter what. And
my point exactly.
Exactly, right? So what do you want to be judged for? I mean, like who, being positive, being happy, or can that be real? Life lesson, and when working with so many people in the industry that I was in, that you just have to show up and be you.
Yeah.
And be your best self.
Be your best self and be authentic. I mean, don't try to be somebody else, you know, and to...
Not a pressure, though, to try to be somebody else.
Right.
We compare others
Oh my
to
God,
others,
it's
right?
like, stop comparing yourself, you know, stop trying to fit into other people's boxes. It's their box. There's no... I don't fit in boxes. Like, what's a box? But anyway, but the point, I mean, I used to. It's like, try to fit in. It's like, you know what, if I do this, then they will like me, they will accept me. No, they won't. They won't, and they didn't.
They will, they won't, so what?
Right.
Yeah, really.
Right.
And if you can, there's freedom.
Oh my gosh.
There's so much freedom
There is.
when
There
you
is
don't
so much.
worry about what other people think.
And you know, and the other thing too is like, when you're you don't have to remember anything. You know, because as we get older, we suffer from CRS. Have you heard that?
No.
Can't remember stuff. So, you know, and it's like when you're just you every moment.
Yeah.
You don't have to like, oh my God, so now I have to like wear this, or I have to put on this face, or I have to put on that hat, and da 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 da. Who can keep up with all that?
It's trap.
It's a trap. It's a trap. And I mean, and I fell in that trap for a long time. And it's like, oh my gosh. And now I'm just like, hey, I'm me. This is who I am. I love you no matter what. I may not like you, but I love you anyway. Accept me for who I am or don't. Either way, I'm okay, because my cup is full with love, gratitude, appreciation, compassion, all of the good stuff. And I'm okay. I'm okay in my own company.
That's awesome.
Right.
A lot of people.
No, they're not. They're not. They constantly need to have like background noise or people around just to drown out their own thoughts and their own feelings and everything. But guys, don't. Face that. I mean, face the fear, because it's just really what the unknown. For me, it's like, because it's unfamiliar. You know, and yeah, there was trauma, you know, and it can be horrific. I mean, we all have some horrific, some maybe not so horrific, but it doesn't matter how we see it, it's how you see your trauma.
True.
You know, because I mean, you can break the same bone I can. I may experience more or less pain than you.
I am always intrigued by people that go through the same situations. And one person rises above it, and another person holds on to it. And they have the same opportunity, even the same home environment. What is it within a person that says, in spite of being abused or going through this or loss or whatever that is that somebody's, what is it that makes people rise above it?
It's a mindset.
And who has the, who gets to be able to have that mindset, right? Like if you touch so many lives, and I do as well. In a coaching practice,
right.
That's what we do. We connect with people, we hold up a mirror, and we say, it's there, can you see it? Can you see what I see? And uncover it, and some go, I got it! Oh my gosh, this is so great! This is amazing! You've changed my life! And you say the same conversation, the same mirror. You hold the same space and grace for somebody, and they're not ready to receive it.
And that's okay.
No, it's perfectly okay,
Right.
but if. And at the same time, how do we actually, I mean, when you're thinking, what are the traps that I'm in? How can I see it different? What words can I say to this person? This is the magic of with my previous life and what I'm doing right now. What I say to this person is going to work. It doesn't. Oop, regroup. Another word, another try, another try.
Right.
I'm currently really jumping into all the different access points to a person's evolution, right? And as a coach, mentor, trainer, I'm not doing the work. What I'm doing is holding up possibility, and depending on what that person takes, right?
That's all we do.
And knowing that what I went through is just a space for me to have a deeper empathy for other people and what they're going through. And my biggest joy that I find is when somebody, and we were talking about some joy points for you earlier today, that when somebody says, wow, I get it, and now I'm going to make this shift for myself. I'm like dancing and singing on the street, because feeling good feels good.
Right.
And then if each of us owned our, I'm not a big cusser, but I'm a cuss. We own our own shit. We own it. I'm grouchy. I'm grumpy. I'm being mean.
And that's okay.
This.
Just don't stay there.
And I'm moving through it. And when somebody comes to our space and they're that person, to not take it personal, the 4 agreements, right? Don't take it personal. Don't make assumptions. And really assume that at this moment they're doing their best. And if we can love. A lot of my closest friends will say, you see the best in everything. I could show you, and this has happened. I was just recently at a friend's house, and there's beautiful painting. And I was like, oh my gosh, it's so beautiful. I love the red flowers on her dress. And she said, Carrie, that's blood. And I'm like, no, they're flowers. And she said, no, that's blood dripping from her. I'm like, oh. Because you always see the best. You always make things beautiful. Yeah, it's my choice.
It's exactly.
My choice, I choose. I see beauty. So or I see
they're blood flowers. It's a new species. It's a new one.
It's a new one, they're blood flowers.
We'll own it.
It's a choice, right?
Yeah.
My choice, I choose. And if I choose to be in this place, I'm going to honor it. But I don't want to stay. And how can I hold grace and space for other people in their choices and not judge and the 2 biggest gifts that I have in my life are forgiveness.
It's huge.
I can sit in space with anyone, no matter what they've done, and have had to do that in many crazy different situations. And giving the ability to forgive, of course, the whole thing, not forget. But
learn from it. Take the lesson.
Truly forgive where there's no pain there. You did this, and I still love you.
But here's the thing. When we forgive, we don't forgive to make the other person feel better. No. We forgive for ourselves.
Yes.
So we can move forward, so we can live in the light, so we can actually move forward. We take the lesson, learned, however hard and difficult it was, and like you said, we still love that person. And it's tough, don't get me wrong, it's tough, but come from a place of love anyway and appreciation. Because it's like, because of this experience, this is what I've gained, and because of that, this is how I am today.
Absolutely.
And because of that, I am a better person. I have more compassion.
Yes.
All of that, so be grateful for that. But when we forgive, when we talk about forgiveness, it's not about forgiving that other person. It's not about the other person. It's nothing to do with them.
It's a weight you're letting go. It's letting go so that you can fly.
Right.
I have a really short story, and it really is a guiding story for me. And forgive me if you're listening to this and go, that's not what I heard. I may be saying this wrong.
On that part real quick, we all have played the telephone game when we were kids. Okay? The message that comes out of the end is
maybe a little different.
What started, but it's the same with our memories. It's the way the telephone game works with that message. It's exactly the same how our memories go. We add a little something, we take a little something, because it changes. So that said, there you go.
Okay, so let me tell you this story. Guiding
her version.
My version of this story. 2 Buddhists walking down the road. Older Buddhist, new Buddhist. Teacher, mentor, mentee. They get up to this river, and there's a woman in the river, and she's drowning. Have you heard the story?
Oh yeah, I'm well familiar with it.
Yes, so you may be able to have your version.
Maybe it's the same.
Maybe it's the same, but this is a guiding story for me. So the young Buddhist, they're standing there and they're looking while she's drowning. So the older Buddhist, the teacher, goes into the river, pulls her out, makes sure she's okay, sets her to the side, and they walk away. And as they continue their path, you could feel, or you could see this energy of this young Buddhist. He's really upset and disturbed about what just happened. And the teacher turns to him and said, "May I ask you why you're so upset?" "Well, you know it's against our faith and our belief to touch a woman, and you went in there and you pulled her out and you had your hands on her, and that really compromised our beliefs." And the older Buddhist looked at him and smiled and said, "Oh, young one, you are the one that's been carrying her.
Right.
I left her at the river." Right, so what are the things that we've been carrying? And so when you have hurt, resentment, anger, disappointment, and you're holding on to that, and the other person is just going about their life, I'm just enjoying the scenery, I'm enjoying my time with my family, and I'm sitting here really carrying that. So you're right, what do you let go so that you can have a joyful life?
Right.
Right?
Again, it's not about the other person.
Right, exactly. And sometimes they've done some stuff. You know, they've done some things that they really, you're wondering, when will karma take in, if you believe in karma? Or why is this fair? Why can that person do that? And I'm supposed to forgive them? If you truly, when you have hurt, anger, resentment, you can't be in a state of joy.
No.
Two thoughts cannot occupy the same space.
No, love and hate cannot be in the same space at the same time.
Truly. So how do you get through that? And it can be in different ways. I mean, I've seen, for me, I have this really sacred space. We live in Colorado Springs, super beautiful city. Well, we actually live in Fountain, Colorado, but...
Actually, I live in Colorado Springs.
Oh, this area is Colorado Springs?
It's Colorado Springs. It's county.
Okay, well, we live in one of the most beautiful places in our country. We're like 8 minutes apart.
Right.
And it's called Helen Hunt. Oh, I'm giving away my secret. But there's this space. And
Helen Hunt is gorgeous. I love it.
And if you walk down these stairs, there's this space. And I'm going to share with you, we need tools. Earlier in this conversation, I talked about what are the tools that are going to move you through where you're stuck. So one of the tools I have is a physical representation of letting go. Like you may burn it, you may flush it, you may bury it. For me, I go to this space, I put whatever is in my heart or pain, and I put it, like I pick up a stick, I pick up a leaf, I put it in there, I put it in the stream that's running down, and I watch it, and there's this bend. And as soon as that gets past that bend, I turn and face as the stream comes in. So now I've let this go, I'm going to pull in what I want. So,
I like that.
Right, so I face it, and I let go of pain, now I want love. I let go of anger, now I'm going to pull in joy. And I really breathe it in. That's what helps me. Someone else could be listening to this and going, "That's crazy, I'm not going to go sit in." But whatever
what I do is I write it down on a paper,
Yeah.
like each one, and I honor it. I was like, I love it. I thank you, for everything you've done for me, what you have given me. And I do this line by line, everyone individually. I love on it. I mean, it's like I appreciate, it's like for, allowing me to use it as an excuse, with the pain or something, every single line item. And then I burn it and let it go. And it's like, you know what? I thank you all. You helped me a lot. I no longer need you. I release you. And then I burn the paper in the sink where it's safe.
I love that.
But to me, it's that physical,
yes, we
gotta do something.
Yep.
And a friend of mine, she actually has magic paper. I like it.
And you burn it, it flies.
No, you write it down, you put it in water, and it dissolves. You can literally watch it dissolve. It's fabulous.
That does something for the brain.
Yes, it does. It releases. And here's the thing: it's like when we identify with something. Say you've been diagnosed with something. I mean, I was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis. I was diagnosed with lymphedema. I was diagnosed with it. I don't have it. There's a difference. Because once we say we have something, we own it. And what is it when we say we have something? What are we afraid of? We're afraid of losing it. So we hold on to it. And we protect it and we nurture it because we don't want to lose, because we have that fear of loss.
Right.
So it's like, don't own it. acknowledge it. It's like, yeah, it's there, it sucks, you know. This body is dealing with it. I'm not, this body is. It's a different. It's totally different. Does that make sense?
Yo, absolutely.
You know, because it's like, as soon as we own it, we want to keep it. It's like,
it's ours, it's mine.
I know.
It's mine.
It's like, take losing weight. Why would you want to lose weight? If you lose something, you're going to look for it to find it. You shed the pounds. You get rid of the pounds. But you don't lose it, because whenever we lose something, we're looking for it to get it back. Oh, I lost my keys. I'm looking for my keys. I lost my keys. I lost some money. I need to go find my money. You know? Think about that.
That's interesting.
Words, man.
Words are powerful.
They're very powerful. So it really depends on how you say it.
Absolutely.
You know, and it's like, yeah, I was diagnosed with this. I was diagnosed with that. You know, this body had, 14 surgeries or what. It doesn't matter.
Right.
It doesn't matter, because it's just, that's something that was going on, and, you know, now I'm doing this. But I don't own it.
It's not a part of your identity.
Right, I mean, I used to own, you know, it's like, man, I have MS, poor me, and, you know, blah, 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 blah. And then I shifted the whole thing. So, and actually, fun fact, my bestie is a shaman, and we actually got rid of the MS, so that's a whole different story. But the point is, you know, change the way you say it. Instead of, I have, you know, cancer, I have multiple sclerosis, I have whatever.
Or I am.
Or I am. I am is even worse. I think I am is even worse. Yes. To me, I am is worse than I have.
Yep.
But it's like, I was diagnosed with. Because here's the thing. It's an educated guess from one person. Maybe two people, but it's people. People make mistakes all the time.
True.
You know? And, yeah, but yeah. I also learned that we actually attract everything in our life. So, and when on my healing journey, on my path, because I'm always on the path, you know, I was,
absolutely.
After I was diagnosed with the lymphedema stuff, I was like, really? Because I don't have enough to worry about? What the fire truck? But then, because practice what you preach, you know, the voice said, okay, now let's find out why. And I actually found out where I asked for it. I went back to where I asked for it, and now, you know, and the universe always delivers. It always delivers, and it's like, well, I was young and dumb, and I didn't know any better. You know, but what's really nice is, what's powerful is with that is, now I can change my story. I changed that tape in my head.
And
so,
here's the thing, that when I'm working with people or talking, or even within myself, when something, you know, you've seen it, why do bad things happen to good people? When you had that realization that I asked for it, what are the things that, and I'm flipping this, you're interviewing me, and now I'm asking you, because I think you brought up a really great conversation.
You might get an answer, you might not.
I might not.
Oh.
I have no attachment. There's another conversation.
I know, right? That's a whole nother show.
Attachment is pain.
Anyway.
Okay, back to this. I'm really curious that what your approach, or your thought, or your belief, because the beliefs are really what create how we see things. I believe I'm abundant. I believe that things come to me.
Right.
Or I believe something different. Whatever you believe is what you see, right?
What you think about, you bring about. I say that all the time.
Right, so you believe that you know when you call it in. Some people, and I've heard this, like, creates guilt. And then, I didn't call this in. Ownership, like, you're owning it. And how do you get past from the why me? What are you saying to yourself? What's in your head? What are you doing to get through that?
First, I mean, it's a process. I mean, and it was tough, because it goes back to that big R word, responsibility, you know, because fact is, once you understand the laws of the universe, and we attract everything in our life. The good, the bad, the ugly. We attract it on a conscious or a subconscious
Like
level.
tuning a radio.
It's tuning in a radio, finding a radio station. We attract it. And a lot of the times, I talk about it on other shows, is like we're running on autopilot or on that hamster wheel.
Yep.
We're just going through the motion of life. We're just running, and sometimes we think if we run faster, we get what we want. No, we're just going nowhere faster because we're still on the freaking hamster wheel. Right? Mm-hmm. So when I learned, and here was my attitude when I first learned that I attract everything in my life, I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? I did not ask for blah, 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 X, Y, and Z and all this other garbage.
Right.
That was my initial response, which is
normal.
Yes. Right, because denial, it's a beautiful place to be. But seed planted. Mm-hmm. And that goes back real quick to what we were talking earlier. Why do some people have the same everything, yet one experience is this way and the other one this way? It depends on when their seed was planted and how fertile their ground is.
Or what they keep fertilizing.
Exactly.
What they keep watering.
Right. So, and I was like, well, and I have attitude. I'm like, BS. I call BS on it. That was my initial thing.
I would never call this in on my body. Why would you say that?
Right. What the fire truck? Well, then I got the message again, this time a little bit different, and I'm going, dang it. Really? And what I've learned is, our life, it's full of lessons, one after the other. And if we don't learn the lesson the first time, the universe says, really? Here, I give it to you again, because, here you go. And I added a little something. Okay? And I still didn't learn. So universe said, okay, here you go again. I added more. Until the shit hits the fan. That's when we're like, oh crap, now what? That's when we go either go totally off the deep end, or we start to fight. Right? So, things have been going well for me, and it's like, this has been going on, da. So, and I got the message again, that we create everything in our life, the good, the bad, the ugly. And we do this from the very beginning, consciously, unconsciously. And I was like, fine. Because, did I mention I have attitude? Fine. Damn. And then all of a sudden, so I meditate. I connect with my higher self, my spirit guides and stuff. So I meditate. And I'm like, what the hell? I don't sugarcoat it when I talk to myself and my spirit guides, because that's not who I am. I cuss and all of that. So I'm like, what the hell? It's like, show me. And there it was, clear as day. And right now I'm talking the lymphedema, which, for those of you who don't know, lymphedema, I refer to it as fat cancer. That's where your fat cells in your legs and your arms and your hips just grow. Just the way it is. And it's for women. 11% of women have it, of females, predominantly females, and it starts during puberty because, we don't have enough to deal with. Anyway. So, and then, my spirit guide, God, whatever, it doesn't matter what you call it. They're like, here's your answer. And it took me back when I was little, and I grew up, I was always told, you're fat, you're ugly, you never amount to anything. And I think at some point, maybe, I heard that somebody said, well, I have a disease that makes me fat. I don't know if I heard that somebody say, if that was my imagination, but I decided, heck, if I have a disease that makes me fat, then they can't really call me ugly and fat and all of that, because then I have an excuse.
Mm-hmm. So you could identify back then? Or you went all the way back to that place?
I went back to that place where I made the decision that I wanted to have a disease that makes me fat.
So then, at that point, you made a decision or a choice to see it different.
Right. And
so
then
how do you get to this place where you're at?
Well, I'm still working on it.
Okay.
Because I was diagnosed with the lymphedema in, what do we have now, December, August? Mm-hmm. So just recently. like, or maybe it was September, October, I don't even remember. I mean, it was recently, I mean, just a few months ago. And my initial thing was, crap. You know, but at the same time, it was extremely liberating because now so many other issues that I've had, or this body had, you know, made sense.
Yeah.
It made sense, like the blood pressure issues and this and that and da. I have an answer. Why? So to me, that was the first step, like, yeah, this sucks, but thank you. I mean, this is really what I said. This sucks, but thank you. Because now I have an answer.
Oh, and the power of gratitude, right?
Right.
To heal.
Right. And now moving forward from that, you know, and I tell people, it's like, I have good days and I have gooder days, or not so good days. I don't have bad days. They're just not so good. You know, when my not so good days have to do with the physical of this body. You know, because it's like, but hey, that's what army candy is for. And for those of you who don't know army candy, 800 milligram ibuprofen. Works for me. It works for me. You know, so when the pain is just getting out of bed, it's painful at times, you know. And I'm like, well, today is army candy day. Woohoo! But that's how I approach it. And I take one, and I'm like a half hour later, I can function. And I focus on what I can do, not what I cannot do.
Right.
You know, and that really makes a difference. I've always done that. You know, it's like when I was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis, I was like, no, that's not it. It's stress. I know what stress can do. This is stress. Not it. You know, and then they're like, oh no, it's definitely it. And you know, they did the MRI and there's like black holes, and I'm like, ooh, that's why I forget stuff. It gets sucked in the black hole. I made fun of it, and I still am. I mean, now it's a non-issue, but I made fun of it. And then I was like, ooh, MS. Huh. Officially, mucho special.
Mucho special.
But the point is, it's like, it doesn't matter what you get diagnosed with and what you're dealing with. It's how you deal with it. You know, I mean, I could sit at home and really go into that deep black hole and feel, poor me, and focus on the things I am not able to do. But that's not who I am anymore. I used to be me. I focused on all those things that I cannot do. It's like, I would love to go shopping in the mall for a day. It's not possible for me right now unless I get a wheelchair, you know, and go through. Okay. So my husband and I went to Hawaii a couple years ago, and they have this, in Honolulu they have this amazing mall. Have you been there?
No.
Oh! So it's like Rodeo Drive meets Outlet Mall meets regular mall in Hawaii. Oh darn.
Oh darn, the torture.
Oh my gosh, it was gorgeous. And I was like, I was so excited. At the same time, I was like, this body, no. The pain, I can maybe one store and then I'm out. So we went into their information thing and asked if they have wheelchairs to borrow. They did. We got one. And my husband pushed me around because he loves pushing me around. So he made fun of the whole thing. It's like, have fun with it. Yeah, it sucks, but have fun with it. Don't stay in the, you know, focus on what you cannot do. And the joke was, it's like, I told him, I said, so, since you're pushing me around, like really now, not just metaphorically, you know, I said, only push me into stores where I can buy. He did, and I did.
You're like, take me where I can buy, and I will buy.
You know, and then I forgot, it was, I think it was the Pandora store. And I was like, ooh, shiny things, Pandora. He goes, yeah, no. And so I put the brakes on the wheelchair, got out, and I walked in.
This one, I'm going to take some steps to.
And he laughs. He goes, I was going to put you in. I just wanted to see what you're doing, what you would do. Because here's the thing, if you really want something, you find a way.
Absolutely.
You find a way. You can find an excuse or you can find a way. guys, find a way. It's a lot more fun, you know, and for the pain, there's stuff you can do. There's pain management, you know, and it's like, focus on what you, and it's like, I love riding a bike. I don't have the balance for a regular bicycle. We bought myself a tricycle.
I love it.
So now I have a cute little, I haven't ridden it yet, but we bought it because it had a really phenomenal deal on it. I have a tricycle in the garage waiting for me for spring.
I love it. Let's see pictures of it.
But again, you know,
Your point is to find the way.
Find a way, and it's like, you can still have joy, and you can still do the things that you love to do, you just modify. You just modify to make it work for you.
Yeah, and I think the whole piece in this is that you have to plan for it. You have to put it in.
Right.
You have to, what part of my day
Right.
is bringing me joy? And maybe you're in,
You know, and
in a
it's like,
situation
and
where
some things, it takes me a little bit longer time, you know, because I have to take the breaks, and I have to sit down and do a little stretching to, you know, counter the pain and da 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 da. But you put that in your plan.
right.
You just have that in there. But I mean, back to the story I'm telling myself now is, and it's a work in progress. You know, I'm human. And it's like, I can do this. I can do this. I will beat this. I beat the other stuff. I beat all the other odds. That's just another hiccup.
It doesn't define who you are.
It doesn't define who I am. And the thing is too, is like, with where I'm taking my business, you know, I'm looking at it, this is a blessing because it forces me to slow down. It forces me to take time for me. Because, and this, I believe this is the universe like looking out for me, because the universe always has our greatest good at heart anyway.
Absolutely.
But it's like, I know, because I know me. If this was an able body, I would run myself ragged. I would. Because I'm so excited of what's coming, yet I still want to do, you know, I want to do the shopping, I want to do this, I want to hang out with my friends, I want to da 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 da. I want to do all of it, and I want to have it all because I'm a girl. So I really think, and I just thought about this right now, right this second, it just came through. You know, this is to force me to slow down.
Absolutely. When
So
I
I
say
can give
absolutely,
more.
that it's a way of looking at it where you could take full advantage of what some people would say is a disadvantage.
Right.
And you're like, oh no, there's no this is all about how I can
Me, myself, and I.
How I can capitalize on this opportunity.
Right, exactly. And it really, it doesn't matter what's being dealt to you. It doesn't matter. I mean, we all get dealt something, you know, and we attract it, own that. You know, it all matters how we deal. And I don't know who said this quote, but life is 90%, no, 10% what's being dealt to us, and 90% how we deal. True story. It's all about how we deal and how we use what we have available to help us further and go forward. And yes, there is pain. You've been through it, I've been through it, you've been through it. There is pain.
The beautiful thing is, at this moment, right now, you can make a decision to do something different.
Right.
And what you do now is what will be for tomorrow. So everything in this moment is representative of all your thoughts and actions today. Who I want to be tomorrow.
Not just today, right now.
Up until this moment, what's manifesting is all your thoughts and actions
Right.
from the past.
Mm-hmm.
And I have an opportunity at this moment to start something different. You don't have to wait until you take a class. You don't have to wait until you lose weight or until you get.
You don't lose weight, you shed pounds.
Okay. You don't have to wait for anything.
You don't have to
have
no.
joy
No.
or to be at peace or to have light.
Right.
It's this moment.
It's a choice.
Yeah, and one of the things that when some people are really struggling, to include myself, because I think our greatest teacher is our experiences, if we look at it that way.
Right.
And there's a moment in time where, many moments in time, where I had to go back to that little girl that I'm 6 months old, and I'm looking at a picture. And I tell that of myself, and I look at her, and I say to this little girl, this little baby, you are so loved. you are going to do amazing things in life, and there are going to be things that come to you that are going to hurt you. There are going to be things where you're going to be disappointed. But just know that it's not about you or love. And healing through going to that inner child, because we all are children, right?
Oh, yeah.
Inside of us.
Right.
And my big thing is how to help ourselves and others, where we meet them, to have the tools to shift. We talk about positive mindset. We talk about the law of attraction. When you're in it and that's all foreign to you, how do you get connected to that is little actions to prove you wrong or right, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
Absolutely.
the law of attraction, did that come really simple to you? Did you absorb it right away, go, I get it, and now I'm going to start manifesting? Or did you have to be like hit over your head a couple times with different, oh wow, that's oh wow, look at that.
I will neither deny nor confirm. No. I'm stubborn. And I was like, eh. And I'm like, I was like most people are. When I talk about law of attraction, they're like, and I tell them, it's like it works 100% of the time for 100% of the people. And I get the reaction like, well. And I said, well, it does. It's like gravity. It doesn't discriminate. It works all the time, no matter what.
Absolutely.
And the law of attraction is no different. It's just, most people use it wrong. They're not aware how to use it because we're too focused on, I don't want this, and what we don't want, and we put all our energy in that, and the universe doesn't hear the don't, they just hear the, oh, you want to be broke? Okay, here you go. Here's circumstances and people and whatever, to keep you there. Because you told me that's what you want.
Yeah.
Because no and don't doesn't exist. So if you focus on, I don't want this and I don't want that, stop right there. And turn it into what you actually want. And that's what I do with my clients too, when they're like, well, I don't know what I want. I said, well, okay, then let's write down everything you don't want. Write it down. Make a list of everything you don't want. As soon as you're done with that, now you go down line by line and you write the opposite. What is it? So you don't want that. So if you don't want that, what do you want instead? If you don't want this, what do you want instead? And after like 3 or 4, they get it, and they just write down everything that they want. It doesn't even match anymore what they don't want. They just write down all the things they want. It's like giving permission to open up that door and open up that funnel.
Because they can't see it until that moment.
Right, because we're so conditioned on the negative and that bleh. I just call it bleh. that we don't see it. We don't know how. We forgot to dream. We forgot how to ask for what we want. We forgot about all that because it's been drilled into us from pretty much since we're born. And it's not in a bad way. I mean, our parents didn't know because that's how they grew up. And that's what they're learning. And that's what's pounded in us like all along the way. And it's so hard to get over that. So start out with the list of the things you don't want. And then just go right the opposite. It's like, oh, I don't want this. So it's like, man, I don't want to be broke. Okay, I want to be rich. Or better yet, I am rich. Because here's the thing, if you put down will or would like, it's all in the future, and technically the future never comes.
It's true, we're always living in the now.
We're living in the now, so I am. Neville Goddard, assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled. I love that one. So anyway, I can talk this stuff all day.
Me too. We just have calls where we're just discussing.
Because you're my people, but hey, it's been like, what, about an hour or so.
Oh wow, we probably should wrap this up.
I know, right? So, Carrie, thank you. You can always come back. You can be one of my repeat offenders. I like it.
I would love to. I would love to. Thank you so much for having me.
Anytime. Thank you so much for coming, for sharing, and for being you, and for being awesome you. And you're my people. I love you.
Sending love and light to the world.
Always. Thanks, guys, for watching. Hey, if you haven't gone to my website yet, giftfrombeanie.com, please go download my gift to you, your quick guide to happiness, to help you start on your journey. And hey, thanks for watching. As always, be happy, be kind, be love. Until next time. Bye.